Hello and welcome to Bees to Billionaires. This is the only podcast where two attractive people meet every single Thursday to rank everything that both does and doesn't exist in a single itemized list. From best to worst, from Bees to Billionaires, I'm Joshua Joel.
And I'm Sam.
Oh, I forgot. We changed the intro last week and I forgot the change because it's not written on my script. I'm supposed to say two attractive people and Sam meet. And there's not even two attractive people here because Emily isn't here.
I'm happy for the upgrade.
She's focusing on exams or something. It's stupid, whatever it is. How are you doing, Sam?
Yeah, I'm doing better. This week is seeming to be a bit better than it was last week.
Yeah.
Last week was not a good week.
I can imagine. So, obviously, this is a podcast about things and the station of which they occupy on the grand list. And number 2 is our legendary bee unicorn, and my good friend. I say good friend. I've spoken to her like twice in the last 2 years. My moderate friend Ellen Drew. She's on Instagram, and her art is fantastic. I reached out to her the other day because I noticed her on Instagram, and it's criminal that I hadn't seen this before. Right? She does surrealism, and God, it's sexy. She mostly focuses on frogs, and
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's really good, like wacky, really bright colours, along with like kind of weird references. All of the drawings have like little bubbles with writing in them to the side, and it's just like I'm looking at a picture about Vasily, who has decided that they are a pair, and no one can tell her what happens to pairs and what function they serve as a food item, because you don't want to break Vasily's heart. And this is the dream frog. All of your dreams are contained within him. Look, there's yours. And she drew the rare unicorn bee, and it is. I just realised it is titled the rare unicorn bee, not the legendary unicorn bee. So she did actually get the name wrong. So it's clearly going to get, dropped down a few pegs. But man, that is
it's such a cute artwork. I love the fumes coming off the horn.
Oh yeah, the magical pink sparkles, and it's like a cloud of fairy dust or whatever. Man, it's so vibrant. I love it. It's weird because the picture looks dark, yet the image looks really bright. So I don't know. I guess that's just what watercolors do or whatever.
Is it watercolors?
No, it probably isn't. I don't know. I'm stupid. I don't know things, Sam. That's.
It's very neon. I quite like it.
It's really bright, isn't it? It stands out. But yeah, that's X Ellen_WX on Instagram. Please do check it out. I'll link it in the description. I don't know. I considered putting it in, like I could put it on like the in the thumbnail or something if I really wanted to. Problem is, because this is obviously an audio medium, but there is a thumbnail, so if you really want, there is one space for visual representation, but I probably won't do that. I'll probably just link it. It's really nice. Check it out. Follow her on Instagram. Do we want to slap the art on the list? This is a show about a list. Wow, there are currently so many items on the list. To sum up the list in 5 items, we've got bees, Sam, the Truman Show, cheese on toast, and unbelievers, those who have not accepted the list into their hearts and aren't using it to guide every single decision in their lives. Which, of course, is it's very unmoral to not follow the list to guide your priorities.
I completely agree with you. It's horrendous, people who do.
Like, if I ever had a gun and I had to shoot a piece of cheese on toast or Sam, you know what I'm shooting. God, I wish I had 2 bullets.
Well, where should we put it? Well, is it
the art
Ellen,
brings me more
the
joy.
Art?
It brings me more joy than the Truman Show, which is our midpoint for this episode.
It's very, yeah. I would put it above the Truman Show. It's very, it's more uplifting than the Truman Show. Let's say the Truman Show could be a bit grim and depressing.
Sure, yeah, kind of. And then what about you? Are you better or worse than this art? The art's, like I said, this, you're not. You talked about being promoted today, but like, I think that this art is more attractive than you.
Well, I will agree with you only because it's the legendary bee unicorn, and
that is
nothing
true.
could be better than the legendary bee
best
unicorn
thing in existence. If you only think that so many things exist,
it was a losing battle to begin with. So,
but I mean, how close can art come to representing such a majestic being? There's something about seeing it in the flesh.
I say it's just below Homestuck epilogues.
You think the art is better than me?
Oh,
whoa!
That was...
Hold on, Sam. I know I said it was better than you, but I mean the list has spoken. I am empirically, scientifically better than you. I'm 6 out of 70. You're 18 out of 70. I mean the numbers.
Yeah,
don't
but
lie.
I'm catching up. It's
very, very
I'll
slowly.
slowly take over. I'll get there. But I think if I'm gonna get thrown down a peg or two, I think maybe we need to. You need to.
I think it can't
exchange the favour.
Going past me and Emily is very sacred. There's only 5 things that have done it: the bee, the unicorn bee, the bee, a combination of bees and crabs, because we have our priorities straight here. Oh right, yeah, and of course the Homestuck epilogues, which was in no way a temporary like power grab or whatever. They're perfectly written pieces of art. I want to say that this piece of art is, man, it's mad insult to like Holly, the person who made the cover art for this podcast, which is sitting at 45 out of 70, which really isn't right. Now that I think about it, but the list
should we
wrong.
upgrade that as well?
No, the list isn't wrong. This is a well documented fact that the list is correct at all times, and because of course to say that this was placed wrong would be to undermine the entire list, which cannot be done because it cannot be undermined. It is the one true constant in this shifting, chaotic world. We could just put.
I think maybe a more accurate place would be. I'm looking Curse-Strahd area.
I'm actually thinking of downgrading it so much because I was thinking about where it compares to our cover art, and actually, Ellen did call it the rare unicorn bee and not the legendary unicorn bee, which again is the wrong name. I think it has to be 1 peg lower than the cover art. It could have been 1 peg higher.
It could.
Also,
we've gone full on roller coaster with
I've
this
also
placing.
recalled the fact that number 38, Kung Fu Panda 3, that film made me cry 3 times, Sam, in one viewing. And I think that really, I really want to hammer home how much of a benchmark. Sorry, I'm thinking of Kung Fu Panda 2. Sorry, I think I only cried once. I like teared up.
Kung Fu
towards the
Panda
end.
2 is amazing.
But
yeah,
and I think I really do want to hammer home how much of a benchmark that movie is. So
yeah. No, I'll agree. Maybe.
Can I say
difficult.
It's one above Holly's art?
Yeah, I think I'll get. Yeah, we'll go 1 above Holly's art.
I'm sorry, Alan. Blammo.
My.
Nice one.
We went everywhere with that. My goodness.
45 out of 71.
B art. Whey!
Yeah. Great. Talk whilst I'm typing and concentrating on editing the list. It's
I've currently picked up the first object from my table. It's a pair of clippers.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I'll just say that.
I'm inspired.
Yeah. I don't like having long nails. It really bugs me because I start playing with them and I'll start biting my nails.
JoJo reference.
Oh, I didn't realise. I am not
Trimming your nails is a JoJo reference.
Everything's. I need to watch JoJo. I need to
yeah,
get
you
down
should. It's awful.
It sounds exactly down my street.
It's really good, but it has some problems. People might get angry at me. This might be a hot take. You know how it's similar to the issue that Dragon Ball has. Dragon Ball is an amazing show that I would never recommend that anyone watches. Like to try and watch through the whole show, it's hundreds and hundreds of episodes of just nothing happening. Like if you look at the plot in the entirety, you're like, oh damn, a lot of stuff happens. What they fight gods. There's like planets get blown up. There's some kind of messianic imagery.
Is there constant power creep and sort of like
constant? It's not power creep.
Oh no! It's gone beyond there.
It's the circular plot is a villain shows up. He'll probably beat up the goodies or do something equally threatening. Sometimes they're not beaten up, sometimes they just stand near them and they're like, oh my goodness, I feel how strong he is. That's an insane power level. And then we have about 50 episodes of getting up to the point where we can fight that guy. And that's all of what Dragon Ball is. It's really, really, really slow. For a show, remembered for its memorable and dramatic fights, the fights themselves also sometimes take like 20 episodes for like a one-on-one.
Wasn't it you said one fight's meant to take like an hour long and then it's 50 episodes long?
It's worse than that. Well, it's not like that. They've got 5 minutes left.
Oh no!
That fight takes like 10 episodes. It might just be 10. But so that guy, they're kind of building towards him from the beginning. That's the best kind of arc-to-arc cohesion that Dragon Ball has. That's from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. It's like the first half of it. But there's a big bad boy named Frieza, and they're kind of training for him for ages. So you learn about him like 70 episodes before he's defeated. So he really is a big bad. And let me just pause to gather my thoughts.
I'm like waving my hand, so it will help you.
You're raising your hands to send me energy. That's a Dragon Ball reference. You're on topic.
No, I said waving. I'm trying to
don't ruin
push the air, the thoughts into your little brain. I mean, large brain.
Thank you. Galaxy-sized.
It's too big.
Yeah. So they spend a really really long time training up to fight this guy, and then, well, to be fair, they do other stuff at the same time. And yeah, we get like 10-15 episodes of people fighting him whilst Goku recuperates, and then we get like 5 episodes of Goku fighting him, and then he throws an attack at the planet and says the planet's going to blow up in 5 minutes. Then they spend 10 more episodes fighting. That's the Freezer arc. The Freezer arc's actually quite good in its entirety. I actually really love it because you've got one planet. It's got 7 Dragon Balls on it. Bring them together, you get 3 wishes. Unlike the Earth Dragon Balls, which only give you 1. And basically, there's like 3 different factions. You've got, Vegeta Vegeta, you've got Frieza and his armies, and you've got like the goodies from Earth, and there's basically people just running around stealing Dragon Balls from each other for an entire arc as you slowly watch like the entire population of this world get massacred by people trying to get their Dragon Balls. And that's really fun. The reason I brought this up, by the way, there's a show called Dragon Ball Z Abridged on YouTube. It starts really poorly, but you really, really need to watch that. Honestly, it's like the best version of Dragon Ball that is, and it's entirely just a fan edit because the show is so awfully paced and made. If I'm being perfectly honest, despite the fact I love it, I brought that up. That was a massive tangent of what was supposed to like broadly explain my feelings to that was a waste of time. I'm sorry. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure suffers from a nowhere near as bad issue. However, it does still suffer from a sort of similar issue that comes from the genre of shonen. I mean, firstly, the first JoJo's is separated into individual parts. I believe there's 7 at the moment, 7 written ones. 5 of them have been animated. Number 6 has just been announced, a few weeks ago, which I finished reading it like a couple of days after it was announced to be animated. Really good. How faithful are the
episodes?
So I think most anime tends to be like shot for shot, like really accurate. It's very identical. Flaws and all.
Oh no.
The first part isn't very good. The first 3 episodes are fantastic. I really love it as like a mini arc. Because you just get like, it's like I think it's 1880s, like British gentleman, and then brother betrays brother, and it's very, very dramatic and wonderful. And like they have a final fight on like the roof of a burning building.
Oh, of course, the most cinematic place.
I won't even spoil what happens in it because there's some big stuff, even in just like the second episode. And then you got a second part which I do honestly really enjoy. And then you get to the third part, which is where they introduce stands, which is what you think of when you think of JoJo's, which is every individual person has a superpower, and that superpower is represented by it's like a cool ghost which stands behind them, which is why they're called stands. And they've all got like a unique superpower. Part 3 introduces them. Part 3 is kind of the most famous part. It's really interesting. I really like the concept of stands. I hate part 3 so much. And I feel like some people disagree with me quite feverishly. Am I using that word wrong? Maybe.
I bet you're fine. Don't worry, I use words wrong all the time. You're fine.
Prescriptivism is at the bottom of the list, doesn't matter. So it's such a unique idea, and yet they spend like it's like 50 episode. It's very episodic, so you have a villain of the week. There's no stakes, because you know that they're going to survive every single episode because you're watching it. You looked at the episode list to click on your episode, and you saw that there were 50 more episodes. And they all pretty much come down to the main character whose stand is to punch stuff good. He walks over to the baddie and he punches them good, and that's how they win. Then maybe that isn't doing it justice, but that is sort of what it's like. Then part 4 hit, and the idea of stands really it gets so good because this was present in part 3, but like I was kind of done at the occasional bit where they were doing it well. Although they did do it very well in a few episodes. Later on, we do get the general idea of extremely specific, over-the-top superpowers. And this is what JoJo's about. There is no power scaling in JoJo's. Everyone is always the same strength, and it's like a guy who anything he touches, he can turn into an animal. Any any inanimate object he touches, he can turn into an animal. Versus a guy who, if you go down in elevation when you're within like a mile of him, you die.
Okay.
It's so stupid. And it's like I mean, fights typically have like a flow to them. Especially like if you think of old samurai movies, there's like this slow methodical pace of like the people kind of introducing themselves. You get the slow the initial blows where their powers kind of get revealed. Or like the abilities and their fighting styles. JoJo's adds I'm basically stealing this from a script of some other video essay I watched. This isn't an original idea. None of mine are. It adds like a mystery component to the beginning. So, you've got 5 characters on a boat. Suddenly, like a weird hand reaches out and grasps someone and pulls them into the boat. And they deflate as they're going in. Where'd they go? They're now vanished. And you're watching like the people get slowly picked off one by one. They've got, one guy's stand will mimic people and play like the last 5 minutes of what they did, like a recording, like a holographic recording. And so they're tracking this guy, and the resolution of that episode is so bonkers. This is just one episode. Do you want to be spoiled for a single episode?
Yeah, I'll be spoiled for one episode.
The guy who was slowly bursting people and deflating them and pulling them into the boat, but then when they looked into the boat, they couldn't find him. It turns out that there was another boat inside their boat. So whenever like a guy opened a door to snatch someone, what he was actually doing was inflating the part of the secret boat inside of their boat, so that like it was like an identical boat. So he was grabbing someone, pulling them into this section of the secret boat, and then deflating that section of the secret boat again. It made no sense.
Yeah. I feel like I'm really not spoiled until I'm so confused.
I was confused as well. I'm still confused. I don't think it was very well explained. I really, really love the later seasons of this show. And it's still like an action-adventure series. It's still very much... They've all got like a same main genre, but each of them kind of have a very strong theme or subgenre, and each part swaps them. It also swaps every single main character.
Yeah, I heard about that. Like the first part's one JoJo, the second part's a different JoJo.
Yeah. So you start with Jonathan Joestar in the 1880s, and it's a kind of a gothic,
Jekyll and Hyde style.
Yeah. Part 2 is like an Indiana Jones type thing with Joseph. Then you get Jotaro, and it's a crusade, or like an Odyssey. They're traveling across the entire world to reach this evil villain who's the big bad evil guy who affects everything. Part 4 is a slice of life, but then it becomes a murder mystery.
Ooh.
I really so part 4 works really well. I liked it, especially after coming out of part 3, because part 3 they we reached a new town, someone stopped us in our tracks, they broke our means of transportation and now they're attacking us, so we kill them, we get a new means of transportation, and then head to the next country, and that's how the every single episode goes. And then part 4 is it's school kids at home in their town, and then someone attacks them, and it's Jeff from Basketball Club, and they can't kill anyone, and it's really nice. There's these real world ramifications for stands and how they affect the world around them. There's an entire episode where they there's someone's cooking is suspiciously good, and so like this has to be involved with a stand. And is this guy evil? I mean, we hate, like, his food is suspiciously good, so we should attack him because of that. But like, his food's way too good, and that's the whole episode.
That sounds really interesting.
And then someone gets murdered out of the blue. And sorry for that spoiler, because it's a big one. But you get this iconic moment where you've got like 30 you've got like all the gang and all like the people that they hate that they've been fighting with for the entire show, who are just like neighbors they don't like really. So they all kind of gather, and you get like this amazing kind of call to power as there's a dark shadow over Morio, and they all kind of team up. Man, the original Endgame moment.
Oh, no! Now I want to watch JoJo. So I'll finally get around to watching it.
Yeah, man. Remember when we started and we wrote out a list of things we were going to talk about in order, and I spoke about JoJo
and
for
we kind of Well, should we go to movie night then? Let's get straight in there.
Should we? Man, do you want to watch JoJo's and then we'll rank it, or?
Yeah, I
feel
would like to
I've
watch
also
JoJo
done like a very
and then to
bad,
rank it.
I've also done a very bad little overview of it. You could do it part by part. That'd be fun, because they're so kind of separate. Also, I didn't finish going over the parts. That doesn't matter. Yeah, let's go on to the next thing. We watched Blade Runner on the weekend on our movie club.
Well, I wasn't there, but I've seen it.
Wait, you weren't there?
Oh, no,
I didn't. You know what, Sam? I didn't even notice.
Oh, that's yeah. No, I was just sleeping. I needed that.
Yeah, I remember now. Blade Runner. I liked it. It was a good film.
Yeah.
I watched 2047, 9, 8, or whatever, like last year. Yeah, I watched Blade Runner 2. Blade Runner. The other year, and this was. I honestly don't think this was as good. One thing is, I think a big question that the film proposes is, what if Mr. Blade Runner is actually a replicant? Because the film's about a dude who hunts like the organic, replicant robots that have gone rogue. Except, some people who watch the film were like, it's completely up to the viewer's interpretation about whether the people are sentient or not. But I'm like, I kind of feel like the film. It didn't feel like that was a question. They felt very sentient.
Yeah.
But it's a big question about whether, maybe there's like the seed at the end, maybe he is a replicant after all. The thing is, in the sequel, Blade Runners all are replicants. So when we're introduced to this guy at the beginning, I automatically assume he's a replicant the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know, someone else... Yeah, no. I'm now actually taking a double take. I think he was a part of me thinks he was a replicant the whole time, and that other people, and the other person who was like, we don't know if Wubba was actually wrong. Maybe that wasn't what was being posed.
Yeah, because interestingly, I watched this with my dad, and my dad was really like, this is a great film, we have to go and watch it. And they're like, so we sat down one evening and watched it. And I was there like, I've heard great things about it. And then we watched it all, and I was bored. And I came out of the film, and my dad was like, what do you think of it? And I'm like, it was okay. But I couldn't put my finger on it why I wasn't engaged by it. Because, the visuals are amazing, especially for like the time. Like it's completely groundbreaking. I think the problem is it's a difficult story to be engaged with. Like, Harrison Ford's character isn't the most charismatic character. And that's not Harrison Ford's fault, it's the character. And I think the big problem is...
I think he's... Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like it. At least get some acting chops out of Harrison Ford. It's just very it's a difficult character to really get motivated by, and then kind of the chemistry between him and the other replicant.
A lot is
the main female.
a lot is unsaid and also maybe unacted.
Yeah,
but I don't know. There was a lot of gaps and a lot was said. I think it's just characters just looking at each other and nothing happening.
Yeah, because it's a lot of the enhance scene, which is just him going enhance, and it's just this slowly see the computer enhance further on the picture.
It's only a couple minutes. You can't.
But yeah, I think it's kind of a bit like, okay, yeah, we get it. It's just like you're enhancing it, and there's a lot of slow moments, and if you're not really engaged with the story, it does become a bit of a drag. And but yeah, like I want to love this film. Is a main part of it, but it's just I don't find myself really falling in love with it. Yeah. Even though I feel like I should.
I am completely confused on... Because my stance on the film... Like, the way I view the events happen on the film is kind of based off whether we're supposed to be thinking he's a human and questioning whether he's a replicant or not. Like,
oh, yeah.
Because I honestly... I actually don't know. I mean, at the beginning he's told you're not a cop, you're little people. By, like, a dude. Which makes me think... Yeah. Isn't he supposed to be a replicant from the beginning? Isn't that a fact that we know? Man, I clearly should not be talking about this movie on a podcast because I apparently just do not know what happened.
Well, the main part of the questioning whether or not he's a replicant is a large part of where the conversation comes. In fact, it's the whole questioning.
No, we are supposed to think he's human. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, and of course it makes sense in a lot of the stories.
So I'm reading the Wikipedia at the same time, which is why I'm kind of flip-flopping and like trying to work out my stance.
It's more of a thing of what...
Trying to retroactively work out what I thought about the film.
It's more of a problem that Ridley Scott, I think, of what his vision was. Because there's the very infamous unicorn scene.
Yeah, so we watched the final cut, just FYI. This film was the film that popularised director's cut, except the director was not consulted on the director's cut. So then he came back and made a final cut, which is actually the director's cut, unlike the director's cut, which is not a director's cut.
There's a joke about there's like 27 cuts of Blade Runner. There's like, and it's all like there's sort of one scene's added in, this scene's not.
Yeah, the work print prototype version, the San Diego sneak preview version, the US theatrical release, the international theatrical release, the US broadcast release, the director's cut, and the final cut. Those are the subheadings in the Wikipedia page, versions of Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So I don't know if all of them are like full versions, but yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, a lot of it is a bit like George Lucas going back to the original trilogy and then inserting the funny CGI moments in.
I think
it's not to that extent, but it's more messing around with what it's the whole hand shot first scene of like meddling with a little bit of the story without really maybe understanding why people like that scene to begin with. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think that maybe I don't know, I feel like it's very different here. I feel like maybe the director had a lot of restrictions put on him, and only later was he able to actually release the film he wanted. Unlike George Lucas, who can't make his bloody mind up about what the film even is to begin with. Luke Skywalker's gonna kill himself, and he's screaming on the way down. I don't know. I thought he was...
Oh,
was
that
defiance,
changed?
But then what? Well, they made him scream in one version and then unchanged it. I think the CGI special editions went to VHS once before they went to DVD, and so I think it's like the special edition on VHS is the version that has him screaming. Which I don't think Like, I guess you could scream whilst you jump to your death in defiance, but it just doesn't fit with the scene, I think. But what do I know?
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about Blade Runner for people who haven't explained the plot.
Yeah, I think I'm looking back and like comparing it to 2001: A Space Odyssey, because I think both of them are similar in a way. Like, they're both stunning visuals.
Which number is 2001, please?
It's 33.
Okay,
but it's
so
the same.
That makes it between Sam and the Truman Show, and also slightly above the stuff we previously ranked.
Yeah, and the thing is, why I go for that is that, as a way, like, if you're not engaged with the story, like, it's a really difficult film to watch. And the same thing with 2001. Like, if you're not engaged with 2001, it becomes difficult to engage.
I don't think that's a fair comparison, because 2001 is really hard to watch. Because that film,
it's weird, because I was engaged by that. I was engaged with 2001.
I really enjoyed it in 2001.
And yet this film doesn't. And it's weird. Like, why is it this film I'd struggle to get in?
The main antagonists of the film are, is it Roy and Pris? Is that it? Yes, I believe so. As well as some other ones. There's 4 applicants who are loose from their basically a slave colony, and and it's partially because they're reaching the end of their lifespan, because they've all got a built-in 4-year limit, and so they're chasing down people who designed replicants in order to see if their limit can be removed. Which is, that's a top tip for building robots. Don't, firstly, give them a will to live if you're also going to tell them when they're going to die. Or when you're going to kill them. I mean, that should be obvious. And there's Roy's kind of slowly going insane. It's clear that he's the one who's, like, really about to die. And he's going off the bloody wall, and Pris ends up, like, dressing up as Harley Quinn and, like, doing cartwheels and stuff, and I enjoyed that. I really like that aesthetic.
Yeah, it's the final scene.
Yeah, she disguised herself as a there was a guy who had, like, these weird. So I don't think they were replicants. I don't know if they had free will or whatever, but he had, like, toys, and the toys were, like, near human life beings, and they were like clowns and stuff, and that was very uncomfortable. But she disguises herself as one of them, and then it's a very cool get up for the final fight to happen in. Man.
Yeah, I was saying the Tears in the Rain speech, that was apparently improvised.
Was it?
Yeah.
It has a Wikipedia page. 42-word monologue consisting of something slang. Spoilers.
Who's the actor that did it?
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the best bits of the film. Like, definitely.
Yes.
He does an amazing job.
All those moments will be lost in time like tears in rain. I feel like I have very little to say about this film, and I feel like I've been saying literally nothing for the past however many minutes.
It's just more that it's a film which I thought I would like, but I don't.
But you didn't. Okay, damn. Well, where's your gut telling you? Is it worse than The Truman Show? Because I think it's better.
I would just put it by Truman Show. Like, really, I don't get.
So it's middle of the road, middle of the list.
Yeah, like, really, I don't. I just find it's.
Can't believe The Truman Show is harder than Kung Fu Panda. That's smage. It's the first thing about Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda 2. I said call it Kung Fu Panda Poo there. We'll ignore that. Obviously, maybe probably 3 times, which again, real benchmark. Everything above that film doesn't deserve to be that high. So I think it should go below that because it was quite big. It was good. So how much lower do you want to go? I mean, I would happily say between Kung Fu Pandas 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Blammo. So Kung Fu Panda, obviously Truman Shows are middle point. Then below that we've got Kung Fu Panda 2. Below that we have Blade Runner. At number 38 out of 72 question mark? Something like that.
Let me just check. Yeah, it should be 72.
Yeah. Good.
Movie night's
Good
done.
stuff.
Moved review. It's finished.
Wow.
Right. Should we go on to the next thing on the list?
I have lost all motivation for the next thing that's on like our list of things to talk about.
We can go on to the one after.
I've been streaming recently. I've kind of sort of only a couple of times, but I've sort of kind of gotten back into it. I did a Zwift race live on stream. See, Zwift is my weird virtual cycling program, and man, I love it. I love really, really short races where you're basically forced to be sprinting the whole time for like 20 minutes. And it's annoying because I held on for so long and you just hit a point where there's nothing more in the tank and you just drop off. And it is the most gut-wrenching thing as you keep kind of dipping towards the back of like this peloton, you see a message saying, close the gap, get your draft going. And so you push forwards and just watching it happen more and more with you falling out of the back and eventually just not getting back. Zwift drafting, so being in someone's slipstream is so powerful in Zwift that just falling behind is a death sentence. But it was still fun. I ended up so far back that there was no real groups left, but I ended up alongside one other guy and beat him in the final couple hundred meters, which is always fun. He didn't even really get to the final sprint. He just kind of dropped off as I was speeding up for it. So there was no like kind of climactic end that I was hoping for. But yeah, that was fun. Twitch.tv/JoshuaJoel1. That's Joshua Joel 1. I also streamed some Skyrim a couple of nights ago, which is good. I hate Skyrim. It's such a good game with issues. It's one of those things where I can sink if someone mentions Skyrim, I want to play it. And I think a lot of people are like that. A lot of people have so many individual runs, profiles on Skyrim that they've done. And it's weird because I feel like I hate Skyrim. I feel like I have nothing but complaints for that game, and I realised that the reason must be because every single time someone mentions it, I want to play it. It's such just kind of a satisfying game and just something nice to do. So, and I feel like it has so much potential. I don't really feel like any of it's being reached. Yeah, it's a game that doesn't fail in any way, just misses the mark, and so I find it a very frustrating game. But yeah, I'm playing an orc. I'm playing a nice orc woman, because imagine playing a male character in a video game. Ugh, couldn't be me. I'm kind of going for I'm trying to do druid vibes, where because you obviously got to have like a character motivation. I'm trying to work out where I stand. I think I just hate cities or whatever. It's my character's mojo.
You want to just be a hermit and just live in the woods.
Ended up. Yeah, I've got an alternate start mod, so I don't do the very, very slow opening of Skyrim.
This is the one where you fade in for the.
You're finally awake.
Oh,
you were trying to cross
famous,
the border,
famous meme.
aren't you? Weren't you?
All I know of it is like versions of when instead of a dragon, it's a Thomas the Tank Engine flying through the air. I've never played Skyrim.
Wow. You should, maybe you should check out my stream, huh? I was thinking of doing some more tonight. Man, Skyrim actually lags on my computer, which is painful. Apparently it's CPU dependent, which is weird because I have a really bad CPU. On purpose. I wanted to put more money into the GPU because CPUs don't really matter in gaming these days. Apparently, Skyrim is CPU dependent. To be fair, my CPU is really bad. It's a... Oh, I don't even want to say what it is. I'm embarrassed. I've got shame. But I don't want to spend 150 quid or whatever replacing it. But yeah, so the game's a bit laggy, which kind of hurts to watch. But no, you should tune in. I'm having to kind of...
Skyrim does seem like a type of game I would play.
Yeah,
I don't know why I haven't gotten around to playing it.
It's just a... It's you just wander around and people tell you to go do a quest and then you go do it. So there's no real nuance to it. It's got no real moral complexity to it. It doesn't even have kind of the branching quests or anything like that you'd expect in this kind of game. Like there's a faction called the Dark Brotherhood, which they exist in, I think, all the Elder Scrolls games, if not most. And they're basically a evil wizard cult. Maybe not wizards, they're not all wizards, but you do a ritual and you say, I want that person to die and I'm going to offer this. And then someone out there, someone hears it and then kills them. And that's the Dark Brotherhood. And that's a cool element. If you join them, so you cannot be anti-Dark Brotherhood. You can either do the Dark Brotherhood questline, or you can just not do the Dark Brotherhood questline. I think if you go and try and kill them, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that because quests are dependent on them, some of the characters you won't be able to kill, and there's no guy giving you a quest to, if you don't like the Dark Brotherhood, you can go kill them, and then you can do that. So it's just like, either do the quest or don't. It kind of makes you feel a bit like a mercenary where you're just... Someone offers you money and points you in a direction and then you go do it. You play the game to complete your quest list, not because you have chosen a character and that character has motivation. It's in a weird way that it kind of saps you out of your roleplay a little bit. Which in a way makes sense, because I feel like role-playing in games is a little bit niche. I don't know.
I have heard a review of it, is that Skyrim is a good game, but it just hasn't got a good story.
Yeah,
and I think
that was the other thing.
Summarizes it.
The other thing about the main plot, I really hate it. You got to go through several steps just to get to so dragons don't attack until you do the first very cinematic dragon fight. So you have to follow through the quest line to get to the point where the big dragon fight happens and then you kill the dragon. And then, spoiler alert, for a game that came out 10 years ago, to the nearest year. That's fun. You suck it. You give it the old suck and absorb its soul, and then someone goes, that's a thing that the Dragonborn do, and you're like, oh, cool. It turns out you can suck dragon soul and then learn their branching magic from them, which is really good lore-wise, because the Elder Scrolls has really, really good lore. Because dragons were there are as old as the universe, or as this dimension. And it's kind of, it almost feels like the Judeo-Christian idea of everything was spoken into being. The word was God and the word was with God or whatever. So their speech is reality. So if they say the word fire, fire comes out of their mouth, and so that's how dragons breathe fire. Is they just
and then was it Vusrodar is like wind?
Yeah, Vusrodar is like push, force, unrelenting, or something like that.
That makes sense.
They give it it has a name of like its ability, and obviously it's got what it's called in the dragon language. But then the translation of what it is in the dragon language isn't the name of like the spell. So Vusrodar, it's called Force, Unrelenting Force, but that's not what the words translate to, which I find that bugs me for no reason. So why does it have 3 names, or 2 names, one of which is translated? Anyway, so and dragons don't spawn until you kill that dragon, and then after that you then have to go off and talk to the Greybeards, who then get you to another quest, and after that they then teach you some cool shouts. And I believe that one of those shouts is used in occasional like dungeons and puzzles. So if you want to just play the game and sandbox and do whatever you want, you have to play like half the main plot line, and the plot's really dull and boring. Like there's some really cool stuff at the end, like the last third of the main plot's interesting in my opinion, but yeah, until then nothing really happens. And if you want to do all the interesting stuff, you need to kind of go down that path, so that sucks. But yeah, I actually have a mod that means that in theory dragon fights should just happen, and I should be able to just suck their souls, and I should just be able to learn the dragon words of power. But I haven't got that one dragon-y spell that allows you to go fast, which you need to do in some dungeons from the main plot. But hopefully that's not too big of an issue. I haven't actually had any dragon fights yet, so my mod might not actually be working, but let's just hope and pray that is. Shall we slap Skyrim on the list? I mean, you haven't played it, but
yeah.
Part of me wants to kind of put it sort of high, just because there's so much to, like, I've had so many playthroughs of it, and it's a satisfying and appealing game, which is probably why I'm so angry about it. It's hard to review something. I really hate Skyrim, but I think I hate Skyrim because I like it.
It's a love-hate abusive relationship.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking at the low 30s. So we've got the Truman Show, which is our halfway benchmark. And then we just go up. We've got Pokemon Platinum, Return of the Jedi, 2001: Space Odyssey, The Empire Strikes Back, Dragon Ball Super Broly, and above that we have the lower tier girls from Monster Prom. So I'm looking at those like top few movies, and I'm thinking that Skyrim. I sort of want to say that Skyrim is. I am inclined to say it's better than Dragon Ball Super Broly. For some reason.
I'm looking at Empire Strikes Back, and I'm just really like,
I will happily drop it below Empire Strikes Back for you, Sam.
Yeah, I'm feeling below Empire.
Okay, there we go. So I'm placing it below Empire, above 2001: Space Odyssey. That makes it 33 out of 73. What are we talking about? Skyrim. There we go.
Skyrim.
Good stuff. Wow. We've kind of rambled on for an hour. Congratulations to
happen?
us.
What? It's a miracle that we're still alive. Oh, thank goodness.
What?
No, don't worry.
You mean we know we're still alive because you expect your personal purgatory to just be recording this podcast with me for an hour, or not for an hour, for eternity?
No, no comment.
Cool. Is the difference between Emily being here or not? Is that like the big factor? If Emily's here, it's fine. But if it's just me, it's like, oh, the one thing you don't want to, it's not hell, but it's not heaven.
No comment.
Cool. Any final closing thoughts? Any closing ideas?
Blue milk.
Blue milk.
Slap it on the list.
Oh. Man, I'm actually really thirsty right now, so now blue milk sounds good. Let me sip some water.
So blue milk, it probably, if you do not know, is from the hit film, Star Wars, and it's. I don't know why everyone has this obsession over it, but it's
I think it's better than a cream egg.
Luke,
yeah.
Yeah, it's when Luke drinks it when talk
Would
to
you rather
aunt
have
and uncle.
Blue milk or jam on toast?
Well, I would rather have jam on toast because I'm just thinking blue milk. It's just like blueberry milk. For some reason.
Okay, so it's worse than jam on toast. Is it better than a cream egg?
I don't like milk. So I'm
okay. I love milk. Well, actually, I don't know. I've stopped drinking milk because I'm flexitarian or whatever.
Actually, I think it's just above a cream egg.
Well, but just above a cream, you think that blue milk isn't as good as Lego Star Wars: A Holiday Special?
Yeah, it isn't special. It's blue milk. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just blue.
Okay.
I got the thing up on Wikipedia. Apparently, Mark Hamill said it tasted awful.
Did it?
Yeah, it was lifelong milk with additives. They put blue food colouring in it, and it was really ghastly, oily, sweet, and yuck. that's the description of it.
All right.
Look, if they gave me blue milk, you bet I'm gonna drink it on camera because what other chance am I gonna get?
But to add blue food colouring to milk.
Well, so there's an indication that I'm an underrated actor. I gulped it and acted like I liked it without vomiting. So,
okay. Man, good stuff. Number 61 out of 74. We're 3/4 of the way to 100. I don't know what we're going to do when we reach 100. We're going to have like a special or something.
Yeah.
We could have like a...
Well, it has to be... The whole episode is just one item, and that's number 100.
That would be good. That's a good idea. Alright, well... Thank you for joining me, Sam.
Thank you for dealing with my presence. I don't know, yeah.
And thank you also for joining us, dear, sweet baby boy listener, or girl, or other.
Or bee. We can't forget the bees. There must be a
boys
hit
can be
bee
boys
colonies.
or girls or other. I think they fit under those criteria.
Yeah.
Also, bees are beyond us. That's why they're higher than us on the list. They already have this like etched into their soul, right? They're so pure and good. They already know that Homestuck's better than a singular bee. Dan,
they already know the answers. They're just laughing, seeing how far off we are.
No, what? This is objectively correct.
No, but
what
the
are you
bees
saying?
know. The bees know.
Yeah, the bees. But no, the bees are having a great time seeing us uncover the objective truth of the universe. They're laughing at the other humans who are wrong.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just not.
Tell me the list is objectively correct, Sam.
Yes.
Say it.
Yes.
No. Say the whole thing.
Well, I think that's it, folks.
No,
We'll
you can't. I will.
The list is objectively
you will not
true.
be returning as a guest. Say it again.
The list is objectively true.
Thank you. I've been Joshua Joel.
I've been Sam.
I will catch you later, honey. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.